This is Samboto, a small ruined village in central Angola, the final stage before the ultimate destination. It's in the middle of approximately 100 villages, near one of the biggest quartering areas in the country, and the last place where the help promised by the government may actually still come.
Unfortunately, here they have no support. Not mentioning the other problems like food, they have nothing to go back with to their homeland. What they expected from the government were agriculture kits and professional kits. For instance, carpenters, shoemakers and builders receive kits according to their profession to help them survive. And they count on humanitarian aid also, but that's only complementary.
Samboto is the last frontier. There is no humanitarian aid here, only a small Angolan NGO, Okuchuka, which distributes a little food, clothes and medicine. A year ago, a landmine killed 23 people here. Since then, the UN has declared the area a no-go zone.
Well, we arrived in this area a few months before the accident. And the information we got, since it was a UNITA stronghold, the information we got from the population is very reliable. This area is one of the least mined areas, because UNITA never mined its territories.
In Angola, in some places, the name UNITA is still whispered. Not in the countryside, not here. Some homecomings look suspiciously like the return of the hero, provided there's still a family waiting.
We were about to leave on a trip and somebody told us you were coming. We dropped everything to come and welcome you. We're so happy to see you again, cousin.
Then there are the refuseniks, those who don't want to go back, who have no living relatives, or who don't see a future in a god-forsaken village after having lived in the UNITA infrastructure.
What I need is to stay by the church, where the children can study. I would also like to live in a different atmosphere. I could take the children to a village, particularly mine, but that would mean a decline in their education. School is not always available. How will they be able to study?
Alexander has 8 children and is a widower. He refuses to leave Samboto without the help the government has promised him. Most people here don't want to go back empty-handed.
Some people lost their father and mother. They're all dead, because of diseases or because of the war. Who is going to welcome us, to give us a kilo of flour so that we can eat and work? Nobody. We would leave empty-handed for Kimbo, and there our work would be limited to serving people who already live there.
Today, Angolans have developed an aid mentality. We're charity cases, instead of going back to work our land. It's been a year since the end of the war, and I think the government should already have had a program aimed at stimulating the return of Angolans to provinces and municipalities so that they can do productive work. But this is not the case. Here, we watch the sea and wait for the humanitarian boats to arrive. Then we settle.
For the last 28 years, Angola has been one country with 2 infrastructures, UNITA on one side and the ruling MPLA on the other. Today, with the end of the war, UNITA has to reintegrate existing frameworks. But there are no jobs. Half of the country suffers from unemployment. Qualified people like doctors, teachers and engineers are forced back into remote villages which have little to offer. Katewa is a small village lost in cornfields and tall grass. This was home for Andre Mango before he joined UNITA 20 years ago. The fighting has left its mark on him. He's convinced it would have ended even if Savimbi was still alive. People, he says, were tired of war.
During our military life, we were supposed to work, to follow orders dictated by the party leaders. It was very difficult, because you do your job, you look back, and nobody you see is a member of your family.
Andre has a wife and 3 children, and he's worried about the future. He'd like to be a carpenter, but for now he depends on others for food.
I don't know. I'm a guest, so you can't ask me how I'm going to live. I should be able to live the life the government promised me. They said when we went home we'd get help and food for 6 months, a family kit, and also money because we were demobilized. They'd planned that for 7 years. It was all organized. But since we arrived here, there's been no sign of help. Nothing to look forward to.
In the same village, Lazaru Kaliaoisa, who's 25, is struck dumb when the future is mentioned.
Tell them that farming has become difficult for you because you lost the habit. Tell them what you want to do.
Lazaru left when he was very young. After the ceasefire, it took him a whole year to find his way home, back to his brothers. But he still can't forget the war. He's full of fear and bitterness when he talks of those years.
When I learned he was dead, my heart was filled with joy. I thought that peace would come now. Savimbi was behind us, we were in the middle, and the government in front of us. We were forced to fight. Family against family. He would come, give orders, and leave in his plane to go back home. For him it was the same. He'd take the plane with his wife. But he was a polygamist who killed his wife with a gun because he thought she wanted to go to the government. We saw it all with our own eyes. When the government came the month Savimbi died, we were all afraid to die. We were sure we were going to die because lots of people died. Bodies had been piled together in one place where I hid and pretended I was dead. I was afraid to die and never see my family again.
The last 3 years of war were the toughest for UNITA. But today, Jonas Savimbi is dead. In Luanda, the party has recently elected Isaiah Samakuva, its representative in Paris since 1989, to replace him. He's said to be the perfect diplomat. The struggle for power has shifted from rebel guerrilla warfare to party politics. But back in Mavinga, nothing has changed. All the questions to the government on reintegration remain unanswered. Every day is a reminder of the past. Everybody is caught in turmoil and nobody knows what the future holds. Here, there's no other choice but to follow the tide. This is only the beginning of a long journey home.